Chinese scientists have issued a warning that the leading rice-producing countries are experiencing the most severe heavy metal pollution globally. Researchers predict that climate change will render rice toxic. In the United States, Chinese scientists have issued a warning that the leading rice-producing countries are experiencing the most severe heavy metal pollution globally. Researchers predict that climate change will render rice toxic. In the United States, a study has revealed that toothpaste is extensively contaminated with lead and various other metals. A project has commenced in the UK aimed at extracting carbon from the ocean. China has set up the globe's inaugural 3-satellite constellation positioned in the space between Earth and the Moon. In another development, Chinese robots participated in the world's first humanoid half-marathon, competing against humans, but ultimately fell significantly behind. China has created a potent non-nuclear hydrogen explosive, which holds military applications for executing precise thermal strikes.
Ukraine has imposed a ban on Chinese companies for allegedly assisting Russia in missile production. Despite this, China refutes President Zelensky's accusation of supplying weapons to Russia. Just a day prior, Zelensky claimed that China is indeed providing arms to Russia. A source indicates that the Trump administration was prepared to acknowledge Russian control over Crimea as part of a strategy to conclude the Ukraine conflict, while the U.S. is reportedly offering to reduce sanctions on Russia in a peace proposal for Ukraine. The Trump administration has replaced its COVID-19 website with a detailed discussion on the lab leak theory. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, EEOC, has reportedly directed its staff to put on hold all new cases related to transgender discrimination, according to employees. Trump officials have attributed a recent confrontation with Harvard to an error, as the Wall Street Journal reports that the Trump administration is considering withdrawing an additional $1 billion in funding from the university due to its anger.
Sam Altman acknowledges that using polite phrases like please and thank you with ChatGPT results in the unnecessary expenditure of millions of dollars in computing resources. OpenAI's latest AI models designed for reasoning tend to produce more false information. 3 days ago, OpenAI introduced a technology capable of reasoning with images. Moody's suggests that investments in generative AI could enhance the potential for co-working within the financial sector. Furthermore, Wikipedia is providing AI developers with its data to combat bot scrapers.
EU lawmakers are being provided with anti-spying phone pouches for their upcoming visit to Hungary. The Texas House has given the green light to establish a new state cybersecurity command at the University of Texas at San Antonio. Phishers are exploiting Google OAuth to impersonate Google in a DKIM replay attack.
DHL plans to stop sending packages valued at more than $800 to customers in the United States worldwide. Ford has decided to pause the delivery of its vehicles to China due to the imposition of tariffs. The South China Morning Post, SCMP, has made remarks suggesting that the threats of tariffs from the United States could present an opportunity for India to focus on manufacturing locally, potentially leading to a significant Make in India initiative. A month prior, Reuters had reported that India was considering reducing tariffs on over half of the imports it receives from the United States, according to sources, in an effort to protect its own export market. There has been a significant 366% increase in chip shipments to Malaysia as a result of stricter measures against the smuggling of NVIDIA AI GPUs, in anticipation of upcoming sectoral tariffs. U.S. chip manufacturers are concerned that they are losing ground in China's AI market to Huawei. In response, Huawei has launched the Ascend 920 AI chip to address the gap created by the absence of NVIDIA's H20.
China is set to welcome Indonesia for significant diplomatic and defense discussions, marking a strategic shift towards Southeast Asia. During his Southeast Asia tour, Chinese President Xi Jinping urged Cambodia to oppose protectionism while Phnom Penh sought loans, emphasizing Beijing's dependability amid U.S. tariff threats. China's People's Liberation Army has been invited to participate in Vietnam's military parade, as both nations commit to strengthening their defense relations. Vietnam's Prime Minister praised the unique bond with the United States shortly after hosting President Xi.
Researchers in Israel have successfully utilized gene editing techniques to eradicate half of the tumors located in the head and neck regions of mice. Innovative water microcleaners have been developed that autonomously disperse, effectively capture microplastics, and then rise to the surface, facilitating their removal. Furthermore, a study has concluded that menstrual cycles do not impact women's cognitive abilities.
Tesla's Cybertruck is facing challenges, leading to the introduction of new discounts and a reduction in production levels. Subaru is reintroducing physical knobs and buttons in its vehicles. In the United States, Sam's Club is removing self-checkouts across all its locations and implementing a scan-and-go system, as part of a remodel affecting 600 stores that will also eliminate cashier positions.
Indian students are reconsidering their plans to study in the U.S., causing panic among education loan companies as inquiries have decreased by 50%. In the United States, the Federal Reserve estimates that over 9 million student loan borrowers are overdue on their payments following the resumption of billing. Teen Vogue has made a comment on the situation, stating that the Florida State University shooter highlights the threat posed by radicalized white men to college campuses, rather than student protesters. Just 3 days ago, it was reported that the Florida State shooting resulted in 2 deaths, with the son of a sheriff's deputy being taken into custody.
Hegseth is reportedly having shared details of an attack in a second Signal chat. A former Pentagon official has cautioned that the department's dysfunction might lead to Hegseth's downfall. 3 of Hegseth's aides, who were dismissed during a leak investigation, have criticized the allegations as unfounded. Rubio has refuted claims that Trump will politicize the Foreign Service and reduce the number of embassies. It has been reported that Trump recently drafted an executive order for a disciplined reorganization of the State Department, which would involve closing embassies and reducing the size of climate change and refugee offices. The Guardian has commented that RFK's remarks indicate that autistic individuals and their families worldwide should be concerned about Trump and his associates. 5 days ago, Kennedy made the controversial statement that autism is preventable, which has sparked anger among researchers.
Ted Sarandos addresses James Cameron's idea of AI reducing movie costs. There's a greater chance to enhance films by 10%. Netflix identifies prospects in video podcasts and increased creator content on its platform. The number of UK consumers engaging in illegal sports streaming has surged dramatically, according to police reports.
California has revealed its intention to ease the safeguards in place for wolves due to an increase in their population. In a separate development, billionaire art collector Thomas Kaplan has decided to auction off a Rembrandt drawing of a lion with the proceeds going towards wildlife conservation efforts. Additionally, Seagate has asserted that its hard drives are more environmentally sustainable compared to solid-state drives, SSDs.
China has introduced a strategy to advance its domestic payment system amid ongoing tensions with the United States over trade. Elon Musk has mentioned that Tesla's Optimus humanoid robots are encountering challenges due to China's restrictions on exporting rare earth materials. China's CATL has announced that it has surpassed BYD's record for electric vehicle batteries by achieving a longer range.
Business of Fashion has announced that Chanel has appointed Kendrick Lamar as its new brand ambassador. In a related story, Anna Jean-Ylan has made history by becoming the first Chinese contestant to win MasterChef Italia, showcasing a remarkable fusion of cultural elements. The BBC has revealed plans for a new documentary titled P. Diddy, The Rise and Fall, which will be available on BBC Three and iPlayer.
LG Electronics has decided to leave the electric vehicle charger market due to a decrease in global demand. Xiaomi has postponed the launch of its inaugural SUV following a tragic road accident. Chinese electric vehicle manufacturers are gaining attention as Tesla chooses not to participate in the Shanghai Auto Show for the 3rd consecutive year.
Malaysia is looking to expand its trade relations with Africa as the threat of tariffs imposed by President Trump becomes more imminent. The White House is nearing agreements on tariffs with Japan and India, although these agreements are anticipated to lack detailed specifics. There has been a significant decrease in the volume of Chinese freight ship traffic arriving at the busiest U.S. ports, which include Los Angeles and Long Beach.
And eliminates the need for Chinese involvement. In the U.S., Walmart is transitioning from using zip codes to implementing honeycomb-style maps to enhance delivery efficiency. experiencing significant pressure due to the rise of artificial intelligence. In the United States, an executive order has been drafted to establish a strategy for incorporating AI into the education 33, according to the ministry. A recent study reveals that over 100 publicly traded software companies are experiencing significant pressure due to the rise of artificial intelligence. In the United States, an executive order has been drafted to establish a strategy for incorporating AI into the education system for K-12 students. A Columbia University student was expelled for developing an AI tool intended for cheating, but has since raised millions of dollars to transform this creation into a startup. According to Number 10, Starmer does not hold the belief that trans women are women, and the Equalities Minister has stated that trans women should utilize male restrooms. Wild chimpanzees have been observed sharing fruits that have undergone fermentation. California is on the verge of exhausting its supply of license plate numbers. Boeing has announced plans to sell portions of its aviation software division to Thoma Bravo for a sum of $10.5 billion.
In the first quarter, China saw the addition of almost 2 million private companies. While there are increasing demands for support. China has extended an invitation to European nations to join forces in opposing the tariffs imposed by Trump. Malaysia's initiative to introduce Thai, Khmer, and Vietnamese as optional languages in schools has faced criticism from parents. Just 2 days ago, Minister Fadlina announced that Malaysia plans to incorporate these languages into the school curriculum to strengthen ties with ASEAN countries. In a significant development, 3 prosecutors involved in the corruption case against New York City Mayor Eric Adams have stepped down. The Trump administration has granted an extension to NYC for ending congestion pricing, with federal officials warning that highway funding could be withheld if the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, MTA, does not discontinue this initiative. In other news, the chief of 60 Minutes has resigned during an emotional meeting, expressing that the company has moved on from him. Semaphore highlights that Paramount's owner, Sherry Redstone, has been closely monitoring 60 Minutes segments related to Trump. Elon Musk has announced plans to reduce his time at Doge to just 1 or 2 days a week, as Tesla's profits continue to decline.
The International Monetary Fund has significantly reduced its projections for the economic growth of China, the United States, and the global economy due to escalating trade tensions. In contrast, Counterpoint has reported a 6.7% year-over-year increase in global personal computer shipments during the first quarter of 2025, despite the expectation of new tariffs from the United States. Intel is set to reveal its strategy this week, which includes plans to reduce its workforce by more than 20%.
Apple has removed the
of imports from China. ARK Invest funds have become the first exchange-traded funds in the United States to incorporate exposure to Solana by utilizing 3iQ's staking ETF. Mantra has announced plans to destroy $160 million worth of OM tokens, with half of this amount coming from the founder of the decentralized autonomous organization, following a significant 90% decline in the token's price. The XRP Ledger Foundation has revealed a serious vulnerability in the latest version of the XRPL JavaScript library.
The Washington Post indicates that Trump's close associates are considering advocating for increased taxes on individuals with a net worth of $1 million or more. In the United States, former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers warns that Trump's criticism of the Internal Revenue Service could potentially lead to a revenue loss of $1 trillion. The Wall Street Journal notes that Trump is preparing to hold Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell accountable for any economic downturn, although Trump has recently stated that he has no intention of firing Powell.
Cristiano Ronaldo's team, Al Nassr, is aiming to achieve success in the Asian Champions League as Saudi Arabia serves as the host for the finals. Andre Agassi is set to participate in the U.S. Open Pickleball Championships. Warner Bros. Discovery has initiated a crackdown on password sharing for its Max streaming service.
RFK Jr. has introduced a proposal to gradually eliminate 8 artificial food dyes from the United States market. A recent report indicates that the cancer death rate in the U.S. has been consistently decreasing. Pew Research has revealed that 48% of teenagers in the U.S. believe social media negatively impacts individuals their age, marking an increase from 32% in 2022.
Authorities in Ivory Coast have successfully saved 33 individuals from West Africa who were victims of a human trafficking scheme. A United Nations representative has issued a warning that Haiti is approaching a critical juncture due to escalating gang violence. The United Nations has reported that the issue of scam call centers originating from Asia is spreading worldwide, intensifying political tensions.
The United States is implementing a tariff as high as 3,521% on solar panels imported from Southeast Asia, while Chinese solar panel manufacturers are reportedly considering their next steps in response to these tariffs imposed by Washington. Roche has announced plans to invest $50 billion in the United States tensions, as echoed by Besant, who foresees a de-escalation in the US-China tariff dispute in the very near future. President Trump has indicated that the tariff on China will come down substantially from its current rate of 145%. China has returned a new Boeing jet, which became more costly due to the tariffs.
UBS has reduced its
drone equipped with a quantum device designed to detect submarines in the South China Sea. Japan has revealed a railgun capable of intercepting China's hypersonic missiles.
The Indian Army has eliminated 2 gunmen in Kashmir as the search for suspects intensifies following a tourist massacre. In response to the attack in Pahalgam, India has taken several actions, including closing the main border crossing with Pakistan, suspending the Indus Water Treaty, and cancelling visas for Pakistani nationals. Earlier, a manhunt was initiated after 26 tourists were killed by suspected militants in Kashmir. Pakistan has closed its airspace to Indian Airlines and issued a warning against any violation of the Water Treaty, as relations between the two countries continue to deteriorate. Pakistan has also cautioned that any attempt to cut off the supply of the Indus River would be considered an act of war.
Trump stated that Israel would take the lead in a military strike against Iran if Tehran fails to abandon its nuclear weapons program. The Pentagon is evaluating a proposal to reduce thousands of U.S. troops stationed in Europe, with officials noting that only Trump has the authority to make decisions regarding U.S. troop deployments in Europe, according to the U.S. Defense Secretary. Iran has made a rare move by arresting 4 state TV employees for allegedly insulting the Sunni caliph.
Tesla is conducting a trial of its robotaxi service among its employees in Texas, California, and other parts of the United States. This initiative aims to relax the regulations surrounding self-driving vehicles, which have been criticized by Elon Musk. Slate Auto, supported by Jeff Bezos, is entering the market to compete with Tesla and Rivian by introducing a $25,000 electric truck. Uber and Volkswagen have collaborated to introduce a robotaxi service in the United States, utilizing self-driving, electric microbuses.
Trump rejects increasing taxes on wealthy individuals, citing concerns that many millionaires might relocate abroad. Trump plans to investigate Democratic fundraising giant ActBlue using the Department of Justice. Harvard turns to its billionaire alumni for support amidst confrontation with the White House, as Trump issues executive orders aimed at colleges and their equity initiatives.
Trump initiates investigation into truck imports, paving the way for potential tariffs. TP-Link, a manufacturer of routers, comes under scrutiny in a U.S. criminal antitrust probe. Trump expresses willingness to approve legislation prohibiting stock trading by members of Congress.
A recent study has revealed that individuals who experience strokes have significantly elevated levels of microscopic plastics in their bodies. It has been reported that 1/3 of Malaysian children are currently overweight, a situation exacerbated by the country's growing addiction to sugar. Furthermore, there is a noticeable trend among Gen Z, where they are increasingly turning to their peers rather than medical professionals for guidance on health matters.
China is reportedly planning to remove retaliatory tariffs on certain U.S. chip imports, indicating a potential easing of the trade conflict. Multinational companies are committing to significant investments in China, despite the ongoing tariffs and the prevailing cautious approach. A Swiss leader mentioned that the Trump administration anticipates conducting privileged discussions with 15 countries regarding U.S. tariffs.
The president of Israel has emphasized the moral imperative of rescuing hostages held in Gaza. Israel has admitted to the killing of an aid worker in a military strike, following an initial accusation against the UN of making baseless slander. In other news, Jordan has banned the Muslim Brotherhood, leading to the confiscation of their assets and offices. Palestinian officials have established a vice president position under the leadership of
Russia's central bank and finance ministry are set to introduce a cryptocurrency exchange. Coinbase is advocating for the cessation of what it terms the war on staking. Additionally, the Wall Street Journal has reported that the World Economic Forum has initiated a new investigation into its founder, Klaus Schwab.
China has instructed the United States to eliminate all one-sided tariffs if it desires to engage in discussions. Pepsi and Mountain Dew, both reliant on imported ingredients, face potential earnings damage due to tariffs, as PepsiCo has expressed. In response, China has decided to cancel 12,000 metric tons of U.S. pork shipments. The United Kingdom's finance minister, Reeves, has stated that the country will not be in a hurry to finalize a trade agreement with the United States.
Apple's attempts to relocate iPhone production away from China are encountering significant challenges. Authorities are obstructing the shipment of suppliers' equipment to other nations, as Apple seeks to produce all U.S. iPhones in India, marking a strategic shift from China. The European Commission has prohibited lobbyists from advocating for Huawei due to an ongoing corruption investigation. Companies like ByteDance, Alibaba, and Tencent are amassing billions of dollars worth of NVIDIA chips. Carnivorous caterpillars known as bone collectors use the bodies of dead animals as a form of camouflage. A study on wild bonobos shows that female bonobos collaborate to preserve their dominance within their social groups. The extinction of giant kangaroos, which weighed around 375 pounds and had restricted movement, is believed to be due to these factors.
The owner of Mashable and PCMag has filed a lawsuit against OpenAI, claiming that the company has misappropriated their content. Character.ai has introduced AvatarFX, an innovative AI video model designed to produce chatbots that appear remarkably lifelike. There has been significant controversy as it was revealed that AI technology was covertly used to assist in writing the California bar exam, leading to widespread outrage.
The Internet Watch Foundation has expressed concern about a significant increase in child sexual abuse imagery hosted within the European Union, with 62% of all such web pages identified by the IWF in 2024 being linked to the Netherlands. The Wall Street Journal reports that Paramount is in discussions with the Federal Communications Commission regarding potential concessions on diversity policies as part of a merger. Oscar voters are being reminded of the importance of actually watching the nominated films.
Artificial intelligence surpasses virus specialists in laboratory settings, heightening concerns about biohazards. Harmful effects caused by gut bacteria might contribute to the increasing incidence of colon cancer among young individuals. A recent study suggests that the enigmatic Antikythera mechanism could potentially be a toy rather than a complex device. The BBC has introduced a satellite news channel in Myanmar following President Trump's decision to silence the Voice of America. Hanoi has refuted claims that Washington will ignore the Vietnam War commemoration. The New York Times reported yesterday that the U.S. has instructed its diplomats in Vietnam to steer clear of war anniversary events. The Wall Street Journal mentioned that Hegseth has threatened to administer a polygraph test due to a leak of a classified briefing intended for Musk. Science magazine has announced that the director of the National Science Foundation is stepping down following the cancellation of grants, reductions in employment, and surrounding controversies. A recent poll indicates that a higher percentage of Trump supporters believe in a connection between autism and vaccines compared to the broader public. Furthermore, the United States Department of Agriculture has decided to pull back a proposal aimed at reducing salmonella levels in raw poultry.
The FBI has apprehended a Wisconsin judge for obstructing ICE agents, with Kash Patel and Trump's Attorney General indicating that this arrest is merely the start. The Trump Department of Justice has instructed ICE to enter homes without obtaining search warrants. Furthermore, Venezuelans facing removal under wartime regulations have a 12-hour window to challenge their situation. In another development, a judge in New Mexico and his wife have been arrested for allegedly concealing a Venezuelan gang member in their residence. North Korean cyber operatives established fake U.S. companies to deceive cryptocurrency developers. A suspect linked to the Scattered Spider hacking group has been extradited from Spain to the United States. Iran claims it successfully repelled a significant cyber attack targeting the nation.
The Trump administration has initiated an investigation into UC Berkeley regarding foreign funding. The Wall Street Journal reports that a group of elite universities has formed a private collective to oppose the Trump administration's actions. The U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia has accused Wikipedia of spreading propaganda and has issued a threat to the nonprofit organization's status. In another development, a federal prosecutor in the United States is questioning medical journals about potential bias. Goldman Sachs warns that U.S. tariffs might put 16 million export jobs in China at risk. According to Reuters, a report indicates that imposing tariffs on U.S. pharmaceuticals could lead to an annual increase of $51 billion in drug costs for Americans. Trump asserts that he is in trade negotiations with China, a claim that China disputes. California is considering permitting the testing of autonomous heavy-duty trucks. Chinese media criticizes Trump for making untrue claims about ocean pollution. A U.S. agency has relaxed certain safety regulations for self-driving vehicles, causing Tesla's stock to rise significantly. The World Liberty, supported by Trump, and the Pakistan Crypto Council have joined forces to enhance blockchain and decentralized finance. A letter penned by a Titanic survivor while on the ship has been sold for almost $400,000. Steven Spielberg, Robert De Niro, and Morgan Freeman have expressed their admiration for Francis Ford Coppola as he receives the AFI Life Achievement Award.
A recent report indicates that military spending in East Asia has experienced its largest increase in the past 15 years. A government report has disclosed that the United States nuclear arsenal is projected to cost $946 billion over the next decade. Furthermore, U.S. analysts have expressed concerns that a Russian satellite associated with a nuclear weapon program seems to be out of control.
Trump asserts that American vessels should be permitted to navigate the Panama and Suez Canals without incurring any fees. China has issued a warning to the United States.
Zimbabwe aims to achieve electrification for 3.1 million households and provide access to clean cooking for 70% of its population by the year 2030. In the Philippines, the Bulusan volcano has erupted, sending ash into the sky at a height of 4.5 kilometers. A flood has occurred in the river Jhelum following an unexpected release of water by India, which has led to panic in the region of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir.
A significant explosion at an Iranian port, associated with a missile fuel delivery, resulted in the deaths of 14 individuals and left 750 people injured. In a separate development, the United States reported hitting 800 targets belonging to the Houthi group following several weeks of military actions. The Houthi rebels claimed that a purported U.S. airstrike targeted a prison in Yemen, where African migrants were held, resulting in the deaths of 68 people. Volunteer organizations reported that 31 civilians were killed by paramilitary forces in Omdurman, Sudan. A Russian military helicopter reportedly entered Polish airspace to test air defenses, according to Poland. The CIA has announced that the son of one of its officials was killed while engaged in combat in Ukraine. The Institute for the Study of War, ISW, reports that Russia is planning to use motorbikes in its summer offensive to counter drone threats.
A recent report indicates that approximately half of the American population continues to reside in areas with elevated levels of air pollution, which presents significant health dangers. A study has revealed that the consumption of ultra-processed foods in the United States is linked to 124,000 premature deaths over a 2-year period. Furthermore, the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, in the U.S. is on the verge of revoking grants that were intended to safeguard children from exposure to toxic chemicals.
Researchers have successfully constructed the first-ever black hole bomb in a laboratory setting. Scientists have engineered an artificial leaf capable of utilizing sunlight to generate valuable chemicals. Furthermore, researchers have achieved the milestone of growing teeth in a lab environment.
The United States and China are engaged in discussions regarding the ongoing trade conflict, as confirmed by President Trump following a response from Beijing. According to Besant, while negotiations are taking place, China is calling for a reduction in tensions. Rollins reports that Trump is prepared to provide financial assistance to farmers who are feeling the impact of the trade war. A recent poll indicates that Trump's approval rating for his first 100 days in office is the lowest in 80 years. 2 months prior in the United States, Redfin reported that 14% of pending home sales were being cancelled, marking the highest percentage during this period of the year on record. The head of the Swiss National Bank has dismissed the idea of using Bitcoin as a reserve asset. An official from the International Monetary Fund has stated that Germany's changes in fiscal policy will counteract the negative impact of trade starting in the year 2026. Italy's Mediobanca has initiated a bid valued at €6.3 billion to acquire Banca Generali.
A temple in Malaysia has introduced the country's first AI-powered deity, known as AI Mazu, designed to engage with worshippers and address their inquiries. A report has highlighted concerns about Meta's chatbots, which are voiced by celebrities, potentially engaging in inappropriate conversations with minors. There are reports that an AI-driven social security application in Brazil is incorrectly denying claims.
Netanyahu, scientists uncover initial proof of bedbugs potentially developing resistance to insecticides through a genetic mutation. A frightening revelation: an underwater volcano is discovered, teeming with thousands of enormous living eggs. For the first time, astronomers observe a star consuming a planet. Nike is facing a lawsuit due to the shutdown of its cryptocurrency business. Stripe is experimenting with a new stablecoin initiative as the cryptocurrency market, valued at $3.7 trillion, continues to grow. In the United States, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, is believed to already possess sufficient authority to regulate the cryptocurrency sector, according to Atkins. Tencent Music is reportedly in negotiations to acquire Ximalaya for a sum of $2.4 billion. Furthermore, Elon Musk's company, XAI Holdings, is in talks to secure $20 billion in funding. This comes a month after Musk combined XAI and X to form XAI Holdings.
Rubio asserts that the sole resolution to the conflict in Ukraine lies in negotiations where both parties are willing to make concessions. Russia declares the full liberation of Kursk, acknowledges receiving assistance from North Korea, and North Korea verifies sending troops to Russia, praising them as heroes. Trump suggests that Putin might not be interested in peace and could require a different approach to be dealt with. The White House has announced that President Trump is set to sign an executive order providing partial relief from auto tariffs. According to the South China Morning Post, Walmart has instructed certain Chinese suppliers to begin shipping products again, as reported by sources. A Reuters poll indicates that South Korea's exports are expected to decline due to the impact of Trump's tariffs.
Researchers have unearthed the most ancient ant fossil ever found, a 113-million-year-old hell ant that was encased in rock in Brazil. A novel theory in quantum optics suggests that classical interference is a result of the interaction between bright and dark states of light. Furthermore, a Soviet Venus lander that was unsuccessful in its mission is expected to re-enter Earth's atmosphere after being left in space for 53 years.
Israeli intelligence chief Ronen Bar resigns shortly after Prime Minister Netanyahu instructed for his dismissal. The United States imposes sanctions on a Chinese and Iranian network that provides missile propellant materials to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Pakistan intercepts an Indian drone following a nuclear warning, with Reuters reporting that Pakistan's defense minister warns of an impending military incursion by India.
China is working on an underwater Beidou network, aimed at enhancing navigation and tracking capabilities. A year ago, it was announced that China would construct a next-generation Beidou system, with plans to conduct test satellite launches in 2027 and complete the system by 2035. Taiwan has established a platform to coordinate responses to disruptions in undersea cables. Somalia has prohibited Taiwan passport holders from entering the country, referencing the One China policy.
HSBC announces a $3 billion stock repurchase following a first-quarter profit that exceeded expectations. UBS reports a first-quarter profit that surpassed forecasts, although the impact of Trump's tariffs raises concerns about the future outlook. In April, China's factory activity fell to a level not seen in nearly 2 years due to the effects of trade tariffs. The Wall Street Journal discusses the growing distance between Sam Altman and Satya Nadella, who were instrumental in sparking the contemporary AI revolution. Mark Zuckerberg declares that the era of social media is coming to an end. Starbucks is enhancing its store workforce by hiring more baristas and reducing its reliance on machines as part of its ongoing revitalization efforts. A Google report indicates a slight decrease in zero-day exploitation compared to the previous year. France has accused Russian intelligence of conducting numerous cyber attacks since 2021. Cloudflare has reported that in the first quarter of 2025, it successfully blocked 20.5 million DDoS attacks, marking a significant rise of 358% year-over-year and 198% quarter-over-quarter.
IBM plans to allocate $150 billion to the United States over the next 5 years to support its advancements in quantum technology. TMC has filed an application to engage in deep-sea mining activities, adhering to U.S. legal regulations. Israel is proposing a trade concession to the United States in an attempt to mitigate the impact of potential tariffs. Description of such actions as hostile and political. Despite this, President Trump has commended Amazon CEO, Jeff Bezos, after Amazon denied plans to highlight the costs of tariffs. Walmart has stated it will not disclose tariff costs and has committed to maintaining low prices. UPS has announced layoffs affecting 20,000 employees and the closure of 73 locations, attributing these decisions to a decrease in business from Amazon and ongoing tariff uncertainties.
A chemical commonly found in plastics has been associated with global heart disease fatalities. A research involving more than 865,000 individuals who took abortion pills revealed that 11% experienced significant adverse reactions. In South Korea, a study indicates that more than half of single parents belong to the lowest 20% income bracket.
Alibaba has introduced its Qwen 3 AI models, claiming they surpass the performance of DeepSeek R1. This announcement has sparked significant attention, especially in the context of the ongoing US-China AI competition. Just 3.5 hours after Alibaba's Qwen 3 made headlines, Elon Musk hinted at the release of Grok. Meta has reported that its Llama AI models have been downloaded a total of 1.2 billion times.
China's military is swiftly increasing its deployment of affordable AI-driven drones, in a strategic and gradual advancement. In 2024, global military expenditures reached an unprecedented $2.7 trillion, marking the most significant increase since the Cold War era. India has finalized a $7.4 billion agreement with France for the acquisition of Rafale fighter jets. An official has announced that Donald Trump will be signing an order that necessitates the compilation of a list of sanctuary cities and states. Trump has made a promise to establish a new legal team to support police officers. Furthermore, an executive order is expected to be signed by Trump, which will require truckers to be proficient in English. In the United States, far-right combat groups have shown their support for youth clubs that are specifically aimed at engaging young men and boys across the country.
Putin announces a 3-day ceasefire in Ukraine, coinciding with the 80th anniversary of World War II. However, Trump's former Ukraine envoy, Kellogg, dismisses Putin's suggestion of a 3-day truce as nonsensical. South Korea reports that approximately 600 North Korean soldiers have died in Russia's conflict with Ukraine, with a total of around 4,700 North Korean soldiers either killed or injured while fighting for Russia. Witkoff notes that Putin perceives a rare opportunity, the first time in decades, to potentially reshape relations.
The Karnataka High Court in India has instructed the union government to implement measures to block access to Proton Mail within the country. A data breach at Marks & Spencer has been associated with the Scattered Spider ransomware attack. Furthermore, software designed for the Uyghur language has been compromised to distribute malware.
Hugging Face has introduced the So-101, a robotic arm that can be constructed using 3D printing technology at a cost of only $100. PayPal is set to introduce programmatic advertisements that utilize shopping data to enhance targeting. Furthermore, artificial intelligence has contributed to uncovering a potential cause of Alzheimer's disease and has identified a promising therapeutic option.
Trump anticipates that China will absorb the impact of tariffs, reducing their effect on the United States. In response, China delivers a firm video message to Trump, asserting that they will not kneel down. Additionally, China maintains that there are no ongoing tariff discussions between Trump, Xi, or their senior advisors, contrary to U.S. statements. Malaysia plans to postpone new taxes due to manufacturers' concerns about the impact of U.S. tariffs. The Wall Street Journal reports that Goldman Sachs is providing guidance to countries eager to appease Trump regarding tariffs. Duolingo plans to substitute its contract workforce with artificial intelligence. The CEO of Microsoft has revealed that as much as 30% of the company's software code has been generated by AI. MasterCard has empowered AI agents with the capability to make online purchases on your behalf.
Pew Research Center reveals that most Americans anticipate
A new series titled Wisteria.
While free expression is considered crucial worldwide, not everyone believes their country guarantees press, speech, and internet freedoms.
A new series titled Wisteria Lane, a spin-off from Desperate Housewives, is being developed by Onyx with Kerry Washington and Natalie Chaidez involved. Brad Pitt is set to star in A24's adaptation of The Writers, directed by Edward Berger, known for Conclave. A review by the BBC on bullying has concluded that there is no evidence of a toxic culture, although it acknowledges that the actions of a few individuals have an outsized impact on the organization's reputation and
Jack Black's brief 34-second anthem titled Steve's Lava Chicken, inspired by the popular game Minecraft, has achieved the remarkable feat of becoming the shortest song to make its way into the Hot 100 chart. Kanye West has made headlines by releasing a previously lost album, Donda 2, on various streaming platforms. In a separate incident, a man who found himself stranded on Mount Fuji was airlifted to safety, only to be rescued once more a few days later when he returned to retrieve his phone.
Hegseth takes pride in terminating a program focused on women and security that was signed into law by Trump. In the United States, the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, is set to cancel nearly 800 grants aimed at environmental justice, as disclosed in a court filing. Harvard University is committing to reforms after internal reports highlighted issues of anti-Semitism and anti-Arab bias. The university's president has expressed regret following these reports, which also include allegations of Islamophobia and a Trump administration investigation into the Harvard Law Review for potential race-based discrimination. Harvard is restructuring its diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) office in response to pressure from the Trump administration.
Hawaii is considering raising the hotel tax to address the challenges posed by climate change. In South Africa, significant fires are raging on the slopes of the renowned Table Mountain. Trump has decided to relax the reporting requirements for accidents involving self-driving cars, which is seen as a favor to Musk. Toyota and Waymo have reached a consensus on a framework for a strategic partnership aimed at speeding up the adoption of autonomous driving technology. The major automotive company Stellantis has decided to pause its full-year financial guidance, citing concerns related to the uncertainties surrounding tariffs imposed by former President Trump. Volkswagen has reported a significant decline of 37% in its profit for the first quarter, indicating that the potential impact of Trump tariffs could further affect its future financial outlook.